Hi everyone, and welcome to my Watercolor Christmas card series. In this first episode, I'm going to be showing you how to paint 2 Christmas cards, so just let's get right into it. With the first card, we're painting a ornament or snow globe, I don't know, whatever you want this to be, but you want to take a circular object and trace a light circle, and you just want to make sure that the pencil is very light so that it's not visible through the watercolor paint. Depending on the opacity of the watercolors that you are using, you could just obviously go over them in several layers until the pencil isn't visible, but I just think it's easier to just pencil in the pencil lightly to begin with. And then you're going to create a gradient that kind of stretches from black and then blends into a blue, and the black is going to be the top portion, so it's going to represent your sky, and the bottom baby blue portion is obviously going to be the ground where your trees are sort of sprouting from. And you want to paint on as many layers as you would like until you are happy with the opacity. So I think I used about 2 or 3 layers, but you want to just be careful that you're not painting on too many layers to make it so dark that you can't see the trees that you want to paint over top later. So once the layers have dried and you are happy with the opacity, you can take a baby blue color and start painting on the first layer of trees. So these are hardly visible, but it's just nice to have a first background layer to start with. Then you can take a slightly darker blue color and just paint on another layer of trees, and you want each subsequent layer to appear closer to the viewer, so you can achieve this one by using a darker color, but the second thing you can do is make those trees a little bit shorter in comparison to the layer previously, because then it'll look like it is closer to the viewer. Once that layer has dried, you can add a final layer in black. Again, we're painting on shorter trees than the previous layer, and the black is obviously darker than the blue that we used before, so you're covered there. But you just want to fill in those existing spaces or the remaining spaces until you're happy with the layers of your trees. Don't forget to sprinkle on some white acrylic paint to give the illusion that there are stars in the sky. You can even paint some big stars on if that's what you prefer. Add a bow with a black fine tip marker and also some sort of holiday greeting. I wrote in "Let It Snow" because I thought it was suitable. It just looked cold and snowy, the painting, so that's the greeting that I chose. Moving on to the second card, we are going to be painting a tree branch with a little ornament hanging from it. If you watch my videos frequently, you should probably know that I love painting trees, so I thought it would be really fun to incorporate a close-up tree branch and really kind of accentuate those details of pine tree branches, and so that's exactly what we're doing. You want to start off by painting a long line that is going to be the bulk of your branch, and then painting these little, I guess, V shapes coming off of the long branch, and these are going to be those little individual pieces that come off the main branch. And you want to paint, it's kind of hard to explain, it's easier if you just watch what I'm doing, but you're painting these very thin lines coming from each individual branch strand, first in a generic green color, and then you can go over it again with a bit of black mixed with the green, and then you'll add some variation and contrast to your tree branch. Once you are happy with your tree branch, you can then start painting on the ornament. I free-handed it, I think, but you can definitely trace something circular so that you have a perfectly round ornament. And I chose a nice red color because I thought it was a nice contrast to the green tree branch. And once that has dried, you can add the little metal part that goes on top of an ornament, as well as the hook that attaches it to the tree. And I also added some details on the ornament itself, so I added these lines stretching from the top to the bottom that made it look a little bit more 3D, but you can definitely forego this part if you just like the look of the ornament by itself. Finally, I added in my holiday greeting, so I wrote in Merry Christmas, but you can write in whatever holiday greeting you'd like. And that's it! Thank you so much for watching this week's episode of my Christmas cards. Stay tuned for next week's episode for more. Don't forget to subscribe and like, and I'll see you next week.